We're holding on Chav Vav Amid Aleph. On the very bottom, we just finished the last line. And we finished off and we're trying to figure out that we explained that you cannot sleep a shinas arai, a temporary sleep outside of the sukkah. Thank you very much. Even though you can eat, God bless you, it's only that's in the moment. It's in the moment. You're noticing. You can eat an achilas arai chutz l'sukkah, but you cannot sleep a shinas arai chutz l'sukkah. What was the reason? So we ended off because Rav Ashi taught us. We're going to pick it up 6 lines from the wide lines. Gezira shema yirdoim. You might fall asleep. You might fall into a deep slumber. The question was, Amarli Abaya lahadetanya. We learned in a brayso. Yashin adim shinas arai b'tfilin. Avalei shinas keva. You're allowed to sleep a temporary sleep in your tefillin, but not a shinas keva. Asks the Gemara, why not? Lecha shema yirdoim. Why don't we have the same concern that you might fall asleep? So Amar Rav Yosef Breid Rav Eloi b'maiser shinas elacheirim. The case of tefillin that you're allowed to take a nap in your tefillin is when you have a shomer. You give over your sleep to someone else, and he's going to make sure to wake you up. So Maskiv Lo Rav Mesharshi. I know we're going a little fast. This is a chazara, as we always say. If we don't remember that it's a chazara, then it's time to chazar. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam she'hakol nihiyeh b'dvaroi. Sunday, Chevra, it's okay. Maskiv Lo Rav Mesharshi. Fraktor Rav Mesharshi, 1 second. You're telling me Ruvain's taking a nap with his tefillin. Shimon is the shomer waking Ruvain up if he falls asleep. Maskiv Lo Rav Mesharshi aravacha. Your arev, your guarantor. Shimon arava tzarich. He needs a guarantor. He needs someone to wake him up. You need to have a Levi and, a whole train of people. So Ella Amar Rabba Bar Bar Chanan, this is new. Amar Rav Yechran, the first wide line. The reason why by tefillin you're allowed to take a nap in your tefillin, and this actually, as you see the little mem, this is what is brought down lehalacha. B'meiniach roishai bein birkav askinan. Meiniach roisha, you place your head bein birkav, between your legs. Askinan, that is the case. If you're taking a nap in a way that we know you're not going to fall into a deep slumber, because no one has ever fallen asleep into a deep slumber with his head between his legs. Yeah, it is questionable. I do remember, there's always those interesting stories of people falling asleep. So the pshat is, tell you my pshat, is that if his head is between his legs, what's going to happen when he falls in a deep slumber? He's going to fall off his chair, and then he'll wake up. Which I one time was was actually a very, very famous speaker, so it was funny. But either way, someone dozed off the middle, fell off his chair. There was a jar of pickles next to him, smashed the whole jar of pickles. Baruch Hashem. Yeah, he's going straight to Gan Eden. There's no shayla. But either way, so Rav Yochanan says the reason you're allowed to take a nap in your tefillin is because your head is between your legs, so we know that you're not going to fall into a deep slumber. Rava Amar. So Rava now is a second answer, not why you're allowed to take a nap in your tefillin, but rather why you're not allowed to take a nap outside of the sukkah. If you're following the progression of the Gemara, we began that you're allowed to eat temporarily out of your sukkah, but you cannot sleep temporarily. We said, why not? Because we're afraid you're going to fall asleep. That was Rav Ashi's answer. So Rava is a second answer, ein keva lishina. There's no such thing as keva, as a set amount of time for sleep. What does that mean? That means even a nap could invigorate. Oh, very good. It's called a power nap in English. A power nap could give you the same amount as a real sleep. So why can't you take a nap outside of a sukkah? Because it's temporary? No, it's not. It's a nap. A nap, sometimes, we all know, a good nap is better than a full night's sleep. So says Rava, the reason you're not taking a nap outside of the sukkah, and this is what that long and lengthy Rashi explains, is because ein keva l'shina. Period. So we have 2 answers why you can't sleep a nap out of your sukkah, which is Halach lamaisa, the fact that people don't sleep in sukkahs, even for the what? What does Rava answer for tefillin? So if you look at the lengthy Rashi, which I'll fly through it quickly. Rava Amar, let's just quickly look at that Rashi, about 15 lines from the end of the Amar. Rava Amar, l'sheva yirdaim lechashinan. He's not worried that you might fall into deep slumber. Helkach b'tefillin shari. That's the reason why by tefillin you're allowed to take a nap, because he doesn't hold of the whole concern that you're going to fall into deep slumber. So why by sukkah are you not allowed to take a nap if we're not worried that you're going to fall asleep? There's no such thing. Whereas the Gabi Tefillin, the time Hashem Yafiach Bahem, that's a different reason. As we're going to see in a moment, so whoever doesn't know what the last thing meant in Rashi is fine, because the Gemara is going to get there right now. So let's see. Why do we need the second reason? Good.
So sum up, what
it's a good kasha. What Rashi just said is what we spoke out outside. The end of the Rashi I'm personally leaving out because of your question. It's a good question, which is going to be the next Gemara, so we're going to get to it in a moment. But Rashi just told us that Rav is giving a separate reason why you cannot take a nap outside of the sukkah, because ein kava l'shina. A nap and a slumber is all the same. And why are you allowed to take a nap in your tefillin? Because we're not worried that you might fall into a deep slumber. Tani chada. So now we're going to dive deeply into sleeping in your tefillin. Yes?
The first answer, the Maisa, doesn't. You have to get to Rova. Because according to the first answer, you can always say, like by tefillin, that you can have a shomer. So why you
by tefillin you can have a shomer, but why by sukkah?
Why not by sukkah? You can also say that you have a shomer.
What's the shomer?
No, you could. So that was the Gemara's kasha. Arvacha sarach. That was the Gemara's kasha. What do you mean? You always need another shamer. Now, why that was a good kasha?
Saying you need a shamer that you could sleep, and
yes.
The shamer will make sure you don't fall into a slumber.
Yes.
Right. But with sukkah, he's saying you can't sleep at all.
So right.
That's Rova, but I'm saying according to the Tanakh, whatever.
Ravashi, yeah.
That there's a difference between Shinas Ara and Shizing.
Yod.
You can still answer. You can still say he should be allowed to.
No, so that was from Misharshi's kasha that Arvacha sarich. No, so the answer was.
The answer on Arvacha.
So we answer Meniach Rosh Bein Birka.
Also say the same.
By tefillin.
Say the same as sukkah.
Oh, in a chanami.
So that's why you have to get to Rava.
No, why do you have to get to Rava? In a chanami.
No,
it's an akimta.
You're allowed to do that.
Yeah.
Go to Rava, you can do that.
In a chanami. Exactly. So you're right. You're right. Very good. We're pointing out a nice chalik. Good. If someone wants to take a nap out of a sukkah, l'chayra, very nice. L'chayra, if you take a nap by placing your head between your legs, meaning in a way that you're not going to fall into deep slumber, it's going to be a machlaikas. The first answer of Yechon, Rav Ashi, Abai, whoever that is, versus Rava, whether that is mutter. Which l'chayra, lahalacha, l'maisa, it should be mutter. Because we know by tefillin, we paskin, it's enough. Now, we're about to see that's not so pashit, so let's go. Because we don't know what is the reason, according to the first pshat in the Gemara, why can't you take a nap in your tefillin? Why are you allowed to take a nap in your tefillin? Why are you not allowed to go to sleep in your tefillin? But what's the reason? So we're just like, it's a bizayin, it's not nice. But what's the reason? What's the reason that you can't, you're going to sleep at night, keep your tefillin on? Why are you taking them off? Again, let's just remember, we live in a world that they wear tefillin all day. So you're going to sleep at night, why are you taking your tefillin off? So that's what we're about to see. Says the Gemara, Tini Chada, we're going to have 3 brises. Or maybe Mishnayos, but I think they're brises. Tini Chada, Yashin Adam B'tfillin Shinas Arai. One is allowed to sleep in his tefillin, a temporary sleep, or 3 lines at the end of the Amud, Avaloi Shinas Keva. But you're not allowed to sleep a permanent sleep. V'tani idach, brisa number 2. Bein keva, bein arai. That you're allowed to sleep both keva and arai. V'tani idach, and brisa number 3, loy keva, v'loy arai. So 3 brisas which all contradict each other. Brisa number 1, you could sleep temporarily, but not permanently in your tefillin. Brisa number 2, do whatever you want. Brisa number 3, do nothing.
What does Rava do with the differentiation between where he says there's no ein shein and keva l'sheina, and then we have 3 brises where different?
So let's see. One second. Let's see. Let's come back. Let's first see how we answer the brises before you ask your kasha. The brisa itself is this year. Let's see. It could be once we answer. We have to come back. Let's see. So answers the Gemara again. We have 3 brises. Or every step of every brisa is a stira. Says the Gemara, loy kasha. Loikasha. Ha dinakat lehu biyadei. This one is talking about that he's holding the tefillin. So what Bryce says that?
Nothing's allowed.
Everything's allowed.
Because
No,
it's
where
going to fall.
everything- where
No,
everything's
nothing is
allowed.
allowed because it might fall from your hand.
Very good. Nothing is allowed. Loi kava v'loi arai. Number 3. Number 3. If you weren't sure, you could just peek at Rashi. Rashi, of course, being the ultimate Rebbe, fills in the dots. Loi kava v'loi arai. Shema yiplu miyadai. That was Rashi, 8 lines from the bottom. We're afraid you might drop your tefillin. Which, by the way, it's counterintuitive. That's why in Svara, your first thought, you would think, what do you mean? Wearing them sleeping is even worse. That's what he was answering. So it's a little counterintuitive. But you're right, because there's a new Svara. We all know that, you fall asleep holding something, you drop the thing. When you're in the middle of davening and you're holding your sitter, that's when everyone knows you fell asleep, is when the sitter falls on the floor. It just happens. Now, why you never drop the baby when you fall asleep is, one of those miracles. Yeah, okay. Maybe we should have told stories.
I don't think that everyone on the couch holding that baby is so safe over there.
Lamaisa, there haven't been mass reports of babies falling, but there have been mass reports of parents falling asleep holding the baby.
Their bottom have been covering it up.
Answer number 1, he's holding the tefillin, and therefore he can't do anything. Which case is that he's wearing it on his head? Arai motor and keva aser. Again, Rashi being the ultimate Rebbe fills it in. Why? Now Rashi finally gives us the reason. Everyone, let's together look at Rashi. 8 lines from the bottom. Shema yafiach, one might pass gas in his tefillin, which is forbidden. So the reason you can't wear your tefillin at sleep, this is definitely something that before you ever learned this once, would not be the reason you would come to. If we were to take a poll, anyone who didn't know this halacha, I'm sure we'd have 100 answers why you can't wear your tefillin in your bed. I don't believe we'd come to, because you might pass gas. But that's the halacha. That's the halacha. Shema yafiach, so you can't go to sleep for a night, you can't go to a permanent sleep. Ha de paris sudare aluye, which is brisa number 2, which everything is mutter, is you spread over a sudar, a handkerchief. Paris, you spread over a handkerchief on top of it. What does that mean? So Rashi, again, 4 lines from the bottom, tells us, you take off your tefillin and you place it next to your head. Place it next to your head. Bein kava, bein arai, everything is mutter. Why? There was nowhere else. Where else do you have to keep your tefillin? They didn't have fancy tefillin bags. They didn't have shelves. They had the bed. So you went to sleep at night, you took off your tefillin and you put it next to you on your bed. Now, Rashi's coming to answer a kasha that Lo Nin Torah L'Malachi Yasharis is really the Gemara and Brachas over there that deals with, what do you mean? You might roll over on your tefillin, you might knock the tefillin off. There's many things that could happen with your tefillin being next to you in your bed. This depends how violent of a sleeper you are. But okay, listen, those are the 3 brises. Really out of time. We're going to see one more line.
Wait, so the second one was
everything's mutter.
number 1.
3, 1, 2, if you want to do it that way. But if you just want to say it, we'll say it outside, is everything is aser when you're holding it. Once you know the reason, it's all very simple. Why, when you hold your tefillin, can you not go to sleep? You might drop it. Everything is aser, even a nap. Why can you not wear your tefillin to sleep? You might pass gas. So what's aser? Only a deep slumber, not a nap. And what if your tefillin's off, but it's lying next to you in bed? Everything is mutter. Let's just finish. What is a nap? Says the Gemara, Tani Rami Bar Yecheskel, K'dei Hiloch, Meya Amma. The amount to walk, 100 amos. So it sounds like a lot, but 100 amos is approximately, 250 feet. How long does it take to walk 250 feet? Feet, not miles. Not not even. How big is the average property?
In the Haverstraw Hills.
Haverstraw Hills. No, how big is the average property? No, let's figure it that way. One's house is how many feet wide? Anyone know? Any house. Here, what's it? 50 feet? 1,400 feet wide? No, that's too big. That's square. So it's probably 700 feet wide. So 700 feet or 70 feet, whatever it is, the point is it takes, like you said, a minute or 2 or 3. It's really not that long. It's a very short amount of time. Let's just see the raya to what we just said, because this is connected to that this is the Meya Amma. Tanya Namihachi, we learned in a rice. You know what? No, let's not do it. We'll conquer our Yitzhahara. Let's stop over here. Let's do a nice Geshemaka Chazara. And we'll pick up from here, B'siyata Dishmaya, tomorrow.